Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'm back with a new layout for Pinkfresh Studio, and I'm going to be using the Home for the Holidays collection. I'm finally breaking into this line, and it is so cute. You get lots of red and green, traditional Christmas colors, but there's also a nice mix of navy blue, light sky blue, and even some golden yellow tones. And I just love when Christmas collections bring in different colors. I'm also going to use this cut file. This is from Pinkfresh Studio. It's going to be available in the store very soon. And then here are my photos. I printed out a little photo strip of some selfies that I took with my daughter a few years ago. And I've got a green shirt on and she's got a red shirt on. And so perfect Christmas colors. And I'm going to make the photo strip work somehow on this layout with that fun cut file. So I want to create my own background, and I'm going to be using the Pinkfresh Studio liquid watercolors. And so for that, I'm going to use some thick white smooth cardstock here as my base, and I'm going to cover most of it with clear gesso first. And this is just going to prep the page for anything liquid that I'm going to add to it. I'm not quite sure where I want the cut file to go. I cut it pretty big, but I knew going into the cut file that it was going to have a lot of red and green in it because it has berries and leaves. And so I thought, well, what color could I add to my background that's not, leaf green or berry red? And so I settled on a really pretty light aqua-ish color. And so I'm going to blend two of the liquid watercolors together. And the first one that I use there is sky blue. And that's my favorite of all the colors. It is the prettiest turquoise shade. And I'm going to blend in with that aquamarine, which is more of an aqua tone with greens in it. So it's definitely more on the green side. And I'm just going to play with these two colors. I spritz the paper with water first, and then I'm just taking the actual dropper from the bottle and just dropping a drip of the color right onto the background, and then using my brush to kind of blend and spread. And then I bring in my little spray bottle of water to do the same thing, and then just kind of turn the paper this way and that. I just want to let it run and blend and kind of create this really pretty aqua/turquoise color wash on the background. And once it's all done and dry, I think it's a really pretty contrast with all of the colors that I'm going to be using in the cut file. And so you can kind of see here how light and pretty this is looking and how easily the colors react with the water. They spread and blend and just kind of go all over the page very easily, and that's because of the gesso. I get questions a lot about gesso and if it's necessary, and it's definitely not necessary, but you can kind of see here what it allows you to do with the colors. If you didn't use the gesso and you added this much water in the color, it would just immediately soak right through the paper, and you would not be able to really get much blending or spreading of the color like you see here. So the gesso is what sort of creates a barrier between all that color and liquid and the paper. So you can kind of see what I'm going with here. I thought at first that I was going to situate the cut file over to the right side, but I wasn't sure. So I just set the background aside, and now I'm going to go through the pattern papers to back the cut file. And I decided to back the bow with this really pretty navy blue pattern paper. And all I did was flip the paper over and flip the cut file over, and then just trace the open spaces of the bow, and then basically just cut it out and glue it down on the back side of the cut file. I love this technique for cut files, and it's a fun and easy, quick way to get lots of colors and patterns on your layout without being too much, because this is a pretty big cut file. Well, I cut it pretty big. You can make it as big or as small as you wanted. And these shapes are pretty easy to trace and cut out. They're not too complicated. Some cut files have a lot more intricate parts to them, so it just depends on the cut file, but this one went pretty quickly. So now I've got my bow done, and I love that navy blue. I think it's really pretty, and I'm trying to figure out where to put this photo strip without the leaves overlapping someone's face. So again, I'm going to worry about that later. I'm going to go and kind of add a little bit of distressing to this navy blue. I wanted to kind of add some light smudgy spots. So I just went for my white gesso, dipped my finger in it, and then I'm just going to smudge it in a few places right on top of this navy blue paper. And it's just going to give it a little more depth, a little more dimension, and create some light spots amongst that dark blue color. And I love to do this. And this is an easy way to get a little bit of a worn, distressed look on your pattern paper. Just don't be afraid to stick your finger in the gesso and smudge it down. And I love how this turns out. In a minute here, I'm going to go back through the pattern papers and try to decide which papers to use to back the leaves. I love how that's looking already. I love that navy blue contrast against that aqua. So I thought I would just try a little bit of something here, and then since I added that gesso, I thought I would add a little bit of the aquamarine color onto the navy blue part here. And this isn't really noticeable in the end. It was just kind of an experiment, but it still gives it a little bit of a different look. So it's not just a flat pattern paper. I love making things look like, you know, it's a little more 3D or dimensional, and just by adding lights and darks, you can achieve that. So I think that looks kind of cool. So I'm going to leave the bow alone and then go for the leaves. I knew I wanted the leaves to be really green, and this pattern paper here with the little Christmas trees on the back is perfect. And so I'm going to do the same exact technique. I'm just going to trace some of the leaves on the back and then cut those out and glue those down. And I'm going to wind up doing the same thing with the gesso smudging on the leaves that I did with the bow. And it's just going to, you know, like I said, give it a little bit of light and dark areas and just make it look a little more distressed. Okay, so off camera I decided that I wanted to hand paint the berries. So I just used white pattern paper to back the berries, and then I'm going to smudge some gesso over that white spot, or over those white areas, and then come in over the leaves as well. And also I think this kind of is a fun thing to do for Christmas because it just gives it sort of a frosted, snowy effect. Even though I live in Florida and we were totally wearing shorts in my photos, I still like to create Christmas pages with the elements of snow, or, you know, to make it look kind of like it's in the cold season of winter, because, yeah, most years we're wearing flip-flops and shorts on Christmas, but, yeah, I still like to make, you know, Christmas pages with snow, even though I never see it, but that's okay. I'm going to paint the berries, and I'm going to use one of the other Pinkfresh Studio liquid watercolors in Candy Apple. This is the red shade, and I'm just very, very lightly dipping the brush in some color there, adding a little bit of water and smudging it around. It does not take much. These watercolors are very, very concentrated, and a little bit goes a long way, so you really don't need a lot. And if you have these, then you'll have them for a long time because, like I said, you don't need a lot. So I'm going to come back in with the aquamarine and add a little bit of shading to the leaves, just like I did with the bow. And once this is all dry and done, I think it looks really cool. And even though I'm not a huge red fan, I think I do like it on Christmas layouts. And I love the little pops of red in this cut file. And I also have pops of red in my photo, so I feel like it's got plenty of red without being overkill. So I decided that there was just really no place to put the long photo strip, so I cut the photos up, and I'm going to try to kind of just space them around the page on and around the cut file. I decided that I needed some more of the background color over to the left. So I'm going to go back with those same two blue shades that I used earlier and do the same thing, just add a little bit here and there, and kind of just make the background watercolor area bigger. Because I thought at first I wanted the cut file situated kind of over to the right, and then I decide this way, that way, this way. I couldn't make up my mind. But here's where I'm going to add some more snow to my Florida Christmas page. My favorite thing to do for snow that is super easy is just to water down some white acrylic paint and use your brush to splatter around. And it's the one thing that I found that does not just soak right through the page. When it dries, you know, you can still see it, because a lot of white sprays, I have not found a white spray yet that doesn't disappear when you spray it down. I'm sure there's one out there, but I just like watering down acrylic paint. I have it, it's right there, it's fast and easy. Okay, so now let's talk dimension. I want to raise the whole cut file up off the page, so I'm going to go through and add little bits of adhesive foam to the back. So that's what all that black stuff was. And then I'm going to come back with the pictures and try to figure out where to put them. I don't want to cover up a lot of the cut file, but, you know, I still have to kind of tuck the photos in here and there. And I decided to do kind of like what you see there. And the bottom photo was basically covering up one of the bottom leaves, so I just cut it, and then I'm going to place it underneath the bottom of the picture so it looks like it's just a little bit longer, and you still be able to see it kind of peeking out of the bottom of that bottom picture there. So to add a little bit of a subtle layer behind my photos, I'm just using white tissue paper there. I like to have kind of a messy border of some sort around my layout or around my photos, and the tissue paper is perfect for that because it's subtle, but it creates a little something behind the photo there. I'm also going to raise those up off the page using some adhesive foam, and then before I glue anything down, I'm going to come in and add a little bit of thread. I decided to go with the navy blue color since the background is light. And the only area where the navy blue is in the bow. I thought I would bring some of that navy blue down to the bottom area, and then a little bit underneath the bottom part of the bow there on the right. And I really like how this is looking. I really love that soft turquoise color on the background. I think it's a nice Christmassy, it looks like a cold color. So it definitely screams winter to me. All right, so I'm going to add some glue to the cut file, and we're ready to glue down. And I'm going to leave the thread kind of right where it was, and then just go back and stick it down. And when I cut the photos up, I looked at the orientation of our faces, and I'm going to put this one down here on the bottom left because my daughter's face is tilted toward the right, and I want it to look like she's looking in toward the middle of the layout, and the other two she's looking toward the left, so it kind of looks like on all the pictures she's looking in towards something. Okay, so now for the embellishments. I went through all the stickers and the die cuts and all the little goodies that are in this collection, and so many things are just perfect and adorable, and I love them all. I had to use this little bird here. I'm trimming off the white border around the bird, and I'm going to tuck him in right there so it looks like he's looking in toward the top photo. And then I pulled off some stickers. I'm going to use some circle element stickers, some banner or little label type shape stickers, and then the navy blue one over the second photo there is a die cut. It says home for the holidays. And then I'm going to pull a third little banner label piece to put down at the bottom. So every photo has a little label shape around it. I'm going to use some of these epoxy button stickers here that match perfectly, and put a couple of those around the layout here and there. And I wanted to keep the embellishments small since I'm using 3 photos and the cut file is so large. I wanted to keep everything kind of small and tight around the photos so it wouldn't distract from everything else. Okay, so my title is going to be Keepin' It Cozy, and I'm going to create the word cozy using the white puffy alpha stickers that come in this collection. And I'm going to mix and match those with some smaller green puffy alphas that were, I believe these are in the Everyday Musings collection, or they might have been Joyful Day. It's one of the collections that came out earlier this year, and I'm going to create Keepin' It with the green ones. They match perfectly. And so I love that title, how it just kind of fits right in the nook there. And then I'm going to go back to the puffy stickers and add in a couple more things in the aqua shade that is in the background. A present up at the top, and then a couple of trees, Christmas trees. And then I found another little bird that matches the other bird that I used. And just kind of tuck in a couple more small elements around the photos here. And I love that the title is small, but it's perfect for that spot. I'm going to fussy cut Joy from one of the other pattern papers, and I'm going to add that to the top for just another pop of red. And so that's going to go up in kind of the loopy part of the bow. And that just brings a little bit more of a touch of red to that area, since I've got, you know, the red kind of going everywhere. I felt like it needed a little something up at the top. And then I'm on the last thing here. I'm going to add my journaling using my T-square ruler and my pencil. I always have to draw lines because I cannot write in a straight line to save my life. I didn't want to use black since this was, I didn't really have any black elements on the layout, so I'm going to use my metallic gold pen. And then off camera I did add some gold splatters just to add a little bit more gold. But anyway, that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. I love this collection. It's so much fun, so many possibilities for Christmas and holiday layouts. And yeah, be on the lookout for all the Christmas cut files. They should be loaded soon, and this is one of them. All kinds of beautiful images to use. But yeah, I hope you get your hands on this collection. It's a lot of fun. Lots of traditional things, but also some non-traditional things added in there, which is awesome. So lots of options for it. But anyway, here are all the details and close-ups. You know I always take a gazillion. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it inspires you in some way. And let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have a great week.